Hello creators, it's Melissa from Melissa's Creations. Today we are casing the 2020 mini catalog and we are using the Honey Bee bundle. Now you've seen lots of projects on my channel with this bundle. That's because it is amazing and I highly recommend it. Today the colors I'm using are Soft Seafoam, So Saffron, and Very Vanilla. And I think that these colors really coordinate beautifully together with all of their soft tones. You can find all of the measurements for this card on my blog at MKre8tions.com. The link is also in the description box below. I am cutting out some shapes from the Very Vanilla. So first of all, I'm going to cut the Hive and I'm trying to center it on a card mat. And that's going to be on the top of my card. I'm also going to cut out some of the other shapes like the Hive, both of the flowers, and one of the small bees. Once I have those shapes all cut out, I'm going to put them into my Stamparatus to stamp the images. To get those images stamped, I'm going to put my cardstock that has the negative images down onto the Stamparatus and position it with the magnets. Then I'm going to take the stamps and place them inside those cutouts so that they are nice and snug. Once I have those in the cutouts, I'm going to close the Stamparatus and pick those stamps up on the plate. And then I'm going to replace those images with the cutout pieces that I ran through the Big Shot. I'm also going to ink up my stamps, and then I'm going to go ahead and stamp those images down, and I get a really good placement every time. This is a great technique if you wanted to get a whole bunch done quickly. You can just cut out all of your shapes first, and then you can place them back into this template for quick and easy stamping. So that I get my Hive stamped very symmetrical and in the right place, I'm going to lay down both of my card mats with the Hive cutout mat on the top. I'm going to place my stamp as I did before in the negative space of the die cut, pick that stamp up on my Stamparatus plate, replace the cutout, ink up my stamp, and stamp it down. This will give me a really beautiful image stamped that I can use on another project. I'm going to stamp it again, and that will make sure that my Hive is stamped exactly behind the cutout piece, so that when I raise the cutout piece, you can see the Hive beautifully. Next up, I'm going to stamp my sentiment. I'm using my StazOn ink for this because it's a nice dark ink. I'm using the sentiment, "Thinking of you, sweet friend." I'm going to pop out all of those shapes from the little Hive cutout, and I'm ready to start assembling my card. I'm going to fold my card base in half. With dimensionals, I'm going to pop up the first card mat that has the Hive stamp. And with the honeycomb piece, I'm going to use some mini glue dots to glue that right on top of the stamped Hive. And then I'm going to pop up my second mat with the Hive cutout on the top of that. And now with the mini paper cutter, I'm going to trim down my sentiment, and I'm going to use my snips to banner cut both edges. I'm also going to use this polka dot ribbon, and I'm going to color it using the So Saffron ink pad by daubing the ribbon down onto the top. And that will give me a nice color on this ribbon. If you do this technique, I do suggest that you let it dry a little bit before you try and use it. Otherwise, you are going to get yellow all over everything. Take my word for it. Next up, I'm going to color in the flowers with a blender pen and some of that classic Stampin' Pad ink that I have squeezed onto the top of the lid. And I also colored in the little bee. Now I'm going to use a little bit of snail to adhere the ribbon down first. And then I'm going to trim both of the edges of that ribbon with my snips. I'm going to use some Stampin' dimensionals to adhere my sentiment just over the ribbon at the bottom of the hive. And then I'm going to put dimensionals onto the little bee, and I'm using glue dots to adhere the flowers down on either side of the hive. And last but not least, I'm using these clear and frosted epoxy droplets as a few accent pieces around the card. And this card is finished. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please give the video a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, and don't forget to leave me a comment and let me know what you thought of this project today. I've started a newsletter for all of my creators. You can join by clicking in the description box below and click that coordinating newsletter link. Thank you so much for joining me. You can find me on Instagram, Twitter, and Pinterest with the handle at MKre8tions. Also on my blog, MKre8tions.com, and on Facebook at facebook.com/MKre8tions. Bye!